Good morning and welcome to a beautiful, albeit cloudy, cool summer day in Pickett, Wisconsin. It's June 10th and it is rather chilly. It's only about 60 degrees, believe it or not. On the stand today, I've got an engine I have not run in many years. And it's a really awesome Saito FA-91S. This was one of my favorite of all time Saito engines back in the 90s because I flew one of these engines on many different airplanes. Astro Hog Bipe was one of them, and that was such a perfect combination. And I've always just loved this powerhouse engine. So I happened to get this from eBay a few months ago, and this has got a brand new set of Boca high performance bearings installed also. It was a very low time engine, but the bearings needed to be replaced. So today's run, I'm going to be running a Master Airscrew 14.6 prop. I've got some 5% fuel and an Inya number 3 glow plug. I happen to have an Inya 3 glow plug. I thought I'd give it a shot on this engine. I don't know that I've ever run an Inya plug on a Saito, so that'll be interesting. But this engine should run fine. I actually had it running a few days ago in the garage briefly, just as a proof of life. And it was nice, so I can't wait to hear it turn up now. So let's do it. Just listen to all the birds. It's so beautiful here. Let's prime this. Yep, she just took a nice drink. Maybe I didn't get it primed enough. Should have been primed by now. Maybe it doesn't like an Inya plug. I got the high-speed needle open 2.5 turns from fully closed. Interesting. Inya plug, maybe? This is very unusual. Let's set this again here. 1, 2. I don't know, maybe it doesn't want an Inya plug in it. I didn't think that would be that big of a problem, but we'll see. If it doesn't run better now, I'll swap plugs with my other engine here. Well, I'm going to pull plugs and see if plug is good and probably just swap them. Okay, I've switched to a different plug and a different igniter just for the heck of it. Let's do our prime again. I think it should still be primed though. I don't think there's an issue with prime. This is an OSF plug. Doesn't appear to be the plug, it's just something not happy with this engine. I wonder if we've got some kind of blockage in this carb. This is very curious. Let's do this real quick. Okay, so it doesn't appear there's any blockage in the carb, at least going that direction. good and wet now. What the hell is happening here? This is really bizarre. I've never had a Saito engine act like this, especially not one of these. See? What is, that's weird. Sure seems like a fuel delivery issue. Doesn't it seem like a fuel delivery issue? There's got to be something happening with this carb. It's fully closed now. Let's open it. 1, 2 again. Does that, any of this make any sense at all? Low speed looks like it's set about right. Now there's no throttle stop screw on this, so I think earlier 91s had a throttle stop screw on them. Just interesting, like the low speed is. That screw looks like it's set properly. Let's see if I can find a screwdriver real quick to make a slight adjustment here. Looks like it's set good. I just made a small adjustment to that low speed. We'll see what happens now. Face it the wrong way. So on these metal throttle arms for the Saito, the low speed adjustment should be basically flushed with the outer housing. On the plastic throttle arms, it's about a 1/16 recessed. This one looks like the throttle, the carb or the idle screw needs to come out and get cleaned off or something, because this is about flush with the outer housing right now, and it should be okay, but it seems a little odd. Trying to establish a good idle speed before I test the idle mixture. I want to be about 2,000 RPM, and now I'll pinch it, and you should see the increase, and then it should drop back down to what it was, but it's a little erratic here. This is why for bench running I like to have a throttle stop screw, so I don't have to keep guessing. Let's just see what it wants to stabilize at here. Yeah, I want an idle for my 4-stroke to be around 2,300 RPM or so. Now see, that seemed like it was about the right response to the pinch test. You can kind of hear the RPM pick up and then drop back down. Really good transition too. Let's see if I can find that idle speed again here. I like to hear that little blub 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 sound. Let's see if it wants to sit here like this for a while. Might be a little bit lower than it really wants to sit at, but I like this idle. This is a good sound. You hear it kind of come up and then go back down. Now this lags, the readout lags the sound. Now let's watch this transition. So that's pretty darn good transition from an extended idle to full throttle at a pretty rapid pace. I'd be pretty happy with this. It might be a hair rich, but I'm not going to complain about an idle like this. Now I'm really pushing it by going down to 2,000 RPM. I did one more little, just a little bit of a leaning of this. let it stabilize here and see what it does now with my pinch test. So we're looking around, it's hard to say. I can just hear it come up just a little bit, the RPM, and then it drops back down. Listen. I didn't hear it as much that time. Now that I've got this dialed in, I think what I want to do is I want to change to that Enya number 3 plug and see if there's really a difference. This seems like it's warmed up and running good now. So let's shut it down and we'll replace the plug with an Enya number 3 and see if there was a plug issue to begin with. Okay, I don't have a whole lot of fuel left here. This Enya plug doesn't look like it's quite as bright, so it may not be the most healthy plug. I've also got a Fox Miracle plug that I can throw in here real quick and see. Okay, I've seen enough with that plug. I don't think I'm getting the same peak RPM with that plug, and the idle seemed a little bit different. So I'm going to throw in the Fox Miracle plug real quick here. Okay, here's the Fox Miracle plug. Now the reason I really want to try this is because I happen to have quite a few of these plugs, and if they run well in these 4-strokes, then hey, bingo, I got more plugs to run. Sweet sound of Saito. Okay, that's a beautiful running engine. It's a beautiful engine, just like I said in the intro. A little bit of a rough start. I'm not exactly sure why it was running the way it was, other than it may have just been the high-speed needle wasn't set properly. In fact, I want to check it right now to see where we're at. So it's like 1, 2 and a half turns. So I don't know why. I don't really know what was giving me the issue initially, unless it had just because it hadn't been running so long. I mean, I ran it a few days ago, but it did, when I ran it a few days ago, it took effort like that to get it running. So I don't know if there was still something in the carb. I don't believe I ultrasonic the carb, but I did make some low speed adjustments that might have affected it at startup in a low speed that would have caused it not to run. But once it got running, it's a beautiful engine. And tell me I don't know how to tune an engine. I had that thing turning really nice, idling really nice. Now there was a little bit of a hesitation from low to high throttle, but typically with a 4-stroke engine, you're not slamming it to begin with, but it never died. And I wasn't going to just sit there and keep playing with it because that can get a little tedious. I had it set to transition to my liking. I would have been perfectly fine with that because I don't ever go slamming 4 strokes from idle to full throttle like you would or you could and can do on a 2-stroke. This is a fantastic engine, phenomenal engine. And it just proves to me why I love the Saito 91S all over again. This is a great engine. So thank you for watching.